Hey guys, Luna here. Today I'm reacting to an AI rewrites Undertale. This is gonna be interesting and probably very silly.
Undertale has a pretty multi-layered plot, right? Well, today I decided to give the basis of that story, the intro at the beginning of the game, to an AI and allow the AI to effectively regenerate the story. I'm going to be using AI Dungeon for this.
I used that to rewrite Kane versus.
Yeah, I can't see this going wrong.
It just went horribly wrong when I used
so we're
it.
gonna hit 6 for custom. You are a child who climbs a mountain and enters the underground. You meet a flower named Flowey. He tells you that you are now in a different world called Mount Blight. He tells you that you must choose which gang you want to join. There are many choices. You say that you want to join Flowey's gang. You pick the red gang.
Yes. Undertale with gang.
You hide out and do not do anything for a few weeks. Where is this going? You follow Toriel to the ruins. You see the Toriel is now a skeletal death flower. What? You decide to spare Toriel. She thinks you and decides to let you in her gang. This means you will be
Oh, dang it, Ad. It was getting good.
It's amazing what you can build on.
You decide to spare Toriel. She thanks you and decides to let you in her gang. This means you will be working for the Death Flower. You help Toriel in hiding from the Grand Alliance. What? I'm gonna try to make it go into the normal story. After getting through Toriel, you now leave the ruins and enter Snowden. There, you find a shopkeeper named Osis. He lets you stay in his shop. You and Toriel sleep in the storeroom. After some time, you start talking about a new threat. What's the new threat?
What's that?
Is it me? Am I the new threat? James the skeleton enters the shop and warns you to watch out for Papyrus, who is hunting for humans. You tell Toriel that you will watch out for him. After a few weeks, you manage to steal a boat. You travel up the river and you find a small village. Are we entering? Did we just skip like half the story? Are we at Temi Village now?
Oh my
Hello?
gosh,
You are now at Temi Village. There you meet a bunch of Tems. They have a leader named G. Is it Caster? He tells you that Toriel has been throwing her weight around and the village is not going to stand for it anymore. What does that even mean? Toriel! What are you doing? Why are you even still here? Why are you following me? Oh my god. You leave the village, Toriel's gang in Snowden. You now live in a hole in the ground. You have to get rid of Toriel and her gang if you want to stay in.
I can't. It's just like the cadence.
Toriel and the gang and decide to hide in the
Dang.
hole.
All this random stuff happened with Luna.
She tells you that she wants to help you. Toriel tells you she wants to help you get out of this gang life. But I killed her! Hello?
Okay.
What?
Let me pause this for a second. Okay, I used this to rewrite my best friend's video. Random stuff like this happens. Yes, Kang, the vampire king, married Luna. And yes, Luna, the dancing queen, just murders Stanley out of nowhere. It's just some random stuff happening. I like using this random. I was just regenerating random stories, and then yes, the part where King kisses the light boy. that I like. Yes, King kisses the light. Oh my gosh, I couldn't do the rest of it. Until I finally said, you know what? The end. And I just wrote, Luna, Kane, and the light boy. They've happened him. Okay, let's get back to the Undertale one now.
Kind of goat magic or something? You and Toriel leave the gang and try to leave for Hotland, but is stopped by Undyne. Undyne tells you that Toriel has been nothing but trouble, and that you should destroy her. Toriel tells Undyne that that is what she wants, then that is what shall happen. What? You decide that it is better to get out of a life of crime. You travel with Toriel to the ruined capital. You live in the ruins there with other refugees. Toriel has died twice at this point, and now we're at the ruined capital. Is that what you are meeting Asgore here? Did we just skip over Hotland? In the ruined capital, you meet Asgore, the king of the monsters. Toriel tells you this is your greatest battle yet, and you must do it alone. You go to the throne room and see a bunch of other refugees. Asgore tells you that your group will be staying in the palace. The palace has a dungeon, but you are not to go in there. I thought we were battling with him. You fight against Asgore to reach the surface. Once you reach the surface, you meet the refugees. They tell you that Toriel destroyed the gates and killed the king. Your group decides to leave the dungeons of the ruined capital. I think it's confused. I think it's confused. Suddenly, you are ambushed by Flowey the Flower, who has now gathered all the human souls. He hits you with his petals, and all the souls that he has gathered go back to his body to make more petals. You are now surrounded by a bunch of yellow petals. You fight against Flowey. You use your sword to cut his petals. You cut off a few petals, and they fall down to the ground. You are now given the option to fight Flowey or spare Flowey. You could fight the Flowey, but Toriel will die in the process. Didn't she already die like 5 times before? You could fight the Flowey and spare Toriel. You could try to sneak away. You go to Toriel. Was that even an option? There was 3 options there, and you picked the 4th one. Toriel tells you to never give up and summons all your friends, who are now
They're ghosts? They're ghosts. No. Stop with the ads, please.
Toriel tells you to never give up and summons all your friends, who are now ghosts. Toriel tells you to fight Flowey with your friends. You decide that Toriel is worth more than the other. You fight against her? What? You turned against Toriel so you can fight Flowey? That makes no sense! Flowey dies, and so does Toriel. You and Toriel leave the underground. You live in the ruins. After some time, a new threat appears. It is called the Lich Lord. What? We went back to the ruins, and now we're entering a new arc. Okay, well, we need to get
the Lich.
Okay, we can't just stop on neutral. You leave the ruins and leave Toriel behind. You enter Hotland and enter a laboratory. The Lich Lord is standing at the counter. He tells you that Toriel was a foolish girl who only wanted to be pretty like the other vampires. She's a vampire? You take an elevator down to the true laboratory. The Lich Lord is sitting down. He tells you that Toriel was a foolish girl who would have made a good subject, but he had no plans for her. I think it's screwed up, man. Let's start over. Alright, let's start over, see what we can come up with next. You are a kid climbing the mountain. You fall in the hole in the mountain and enter the underground. You meet Flowey the Flower. Flowey tells you that the mountain is your punishment, and you must serve the purpose for which you were made. The purpose is to breed? No.
What?
You fall down a hole and enter the underground. There you meet Flowey the Flower. He asks for your help. You agree to help him. You have 2 choices. You can either follow him through the waterfall or through the poison bush. Apparently, we have actually fallen into waterfall instead of the ruins this time around. That's pretty cool. You are standing on the rocks leading to the waterfall. You can see a small opening to the left. It looks like a cave. You can hear the rushing waters inside. You can do it, kid. Apparently, Flowey is good and is on
I like this one. I like this Flowey. He's a good guy.
You to enter the ruins. You follow Toriel through the ruins, and she teaches you about the combat system. The ruins are quite different from the underground. I thought the ruins was in the underground, but alright. There are tall buildings inside of the short tunnel-like corridors you've been walking in. The buildings themselves are made of stone and brick. They are taller and wider than before. You are forced to combat against Toriel in order to exit the ruins and enter Snowdin. She never lets you in, no matter how good you are. Come on, Toriel says. She has a sword, and she is blocking your sword attacks. She seems to be the only one protecting herself. Why does she have a sword? I kind of like this Toriel better, not gonna lie. You get past Toriel by sparing her, and enter Snowden. Welcome to Snowden-torium. Stands behind a table, he says, I heard that Toriel and the boy were looking for you. I think you found me. Who the heck is the boy? Is it Sans? Is Sans the boy? Sans appears behind
Just
you.
like-
It tells
just
you that
like-
you should watch out for Papyrus. Papyrus? Who's that? He is Toriel's other half. Toriel appears. This is the new Undertale theory. Papyrus is Toriel's other half. Oh my god. Sans says Toriel looks angry, and she looks like she's going to kill you. Toriel says, I won't allow you to leave while you still have the chance to turn back. Not gonna lie, that actually sounds a lot like Toriel. It's doing somewhat of a good job. You run for your life and enter Snowden Town. There you are confronted by Papyrus. Papyrus says, well, you've done it this time, kid. Toriel says, I think you have something that belongs to me. Toriel points to the shop. What do you want there? Do you want a cinnamon bun? Hello? You spare Papyrus and go to the shop. You are sold to a hunter named Aizawa. He takes you to the hunter's lodging house. Aizawa tells Toriel, go back to the ruins. And Toriel leaves the lodging house. Toriel appears again and says, I've been looking all over for you. Give me my other half. Papyrus says, I am going to give you my other half. And grabs Toriel and kisses her. Toriel is very happy.
What?
Gives him her
Excuse
eternal life.
me, what?
Toriel now looks at you and says, I guess you don't want to be my other half. I understand.
Oh my god, I can't.
There is a pool of water, a small waterfall, and a stone staircase spiraling down into the cave. You're not supposed to be here, somebody says. You turn around and see Undyne, who is now attacking you. You say, Toriel said I wasn't allowed to come here. Undyne says, Toriel doesn't know that I'm here. I'm going to kill you. Okay, we need to wrap this story up quickly, man. You run away from Undyne, and Sans teleports you to Asgore, and you duel Asgore. He easily beats you. He drags you back to Toriel, who is now attacking Undyne. I just want the story to finish, man. Toriel says,
How much is that? Okay.
You say, what about the poison? Toriel says, you can never leave the underground. Toriel asks you to leave. You run away from Toriel and go further down the cave. I think Toriel is confused. You enter the cave and then enter Dew Home, where you fight Omega Flowey. I believe you will win that battle too. He is defeated. When he faints, the poison begins to take effect. He will die soon. Toriel appears. Why did Toriel disappear out of nowhere? What is Toriel? Go to the surface, and Toriel takes you back to the. And Toriel takes you back to the waterfall cave. And when you go to the surface, Toriel follows you. Toriel says you can never leave the underground. You exit the underground and Toriel stops you. Toriel says, God, it just doesn't end. Toriel, leave me alone, please.
Okay, that was just, I couldn't stop. It was just the end. Oh my god, I should rewrite my story about Lake Tail and see what happens if I add Kane into the story. If Kane just keeps bothering Luna, aka /dare /she. Oh my gosh, this is too funny. I rewrote the Kane one versus Kane. That didn't end so well. That didn't go so well. And random stuff like this. I love stuff like this. It's just too funny. If you want me guys to send pictures of me doing that Kane stuff, yeah, I'm not gonna send any pictures because it's just too funny. I was dying laughing what I was doing. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay cute, stay lovely. This is your favorite purple girl hedgehog.